Okay, so today we are talking about photography go-see competition. So whether you're registered for this competition or you're interested in this competition, definitely make sure you're paying attention. I'm going to go through all the rules and then the tips about this competition. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions about photography go-see, just make sure, hi Brooklyn, just make sure that you are asking and I will try to answer them. Hi Wawa. I just want to make sure I'll answer them, so definitely ask as I'm going and I'll try to keep an eye on them. Okay, so the photography go-see competition is a closed competition at CMTC, so this means that there's no audience. It will be you and your division going in, and then the way we have it set up is the perimeter of the room is set up with all of the judges, so you'll walk around with your 2 photos, holding them up high and walking in confidently and showing each and every one of the reps. Some of them are judging and then some of them are just there to look at you, to see the models and talent that are in the competition. So you'll notice some of them have judging sheets, and again, some of them are there just to scout. So Audra actually picks the judges for this competition, so you won't know who is judging until you're in the room, but it doesn't matter because, again, the reason that you're even in the competition is to get that exposure. So this is a really great competition for exposure because every single rep at CMTC is in this competition room with you, so you'll really get that exposure from everyone that's there, not just the people who are judging the competition. So that's a really important note. Do we take the pictures at CMTC or at home? At home. So this is one of those competitions at CMTC that you actually have to bring and print photos for. So you're allowed to have 2 photos, and I'll talk about the requirements for those, but you have 2 photos that are printed and you're holding them up high. So I'll get into some more details about that in a second, but I'm just going to read a little bit about the competition. So this competition provides you the opportunity to show 2 of your best images to the reps that are in attendance at CMTC. And this competition is set up as an industry go-see. So for all of you new faces, a go-see is where a model would go into a casting where there's the casting director, some agents, whomever, and they're showing their portfolio, and in a lot of cases it's not the entire portfolio, it's a quick overview of your photos, your photo movement, and then how you picture, how you photograph, and then also what you look like in person. So they're looking at that, and then they're also assessing your personality. Are you someone that they want to work with? So when you walk into this room, my biggest suggestion and recommendation is to be confident in your photos, but as well as you as your person. So make sure that you're willing to answer any questions. The reps may ask you questions. They have the opportunity to if they so choose. Some of them might not, so don't take offense to that. That's not a bad thing. But if they do ask you questions, it could be like your age, your height, your representation, where you're from. It could be a question about the photo itself, where you took it. I'm just going to pause. I see some questions coming through. So do these photos have to be professional? So again, they don't have to be professional. I know I kind of drive this point home, but these reps are looking for new faces. So they understand that you're not coming with a full portfolio. If you have professional photos, then great. If these are photos that you've taken at home, that's fine too. Just make sure that they're good enough quality for you to blow them up. Okay, so we do recommend 9x12. It's not a requirement for this competition. You won't be disqualified or anything, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that you're holding photos. There's about a table between you, so you just want to make sure that those photos, that you can see them. So industry standard for a model portfolio is 9x12, but again, you could get these printed at Walmart if you take them at home, so don't stress about that, but again, just make sure that these photos are big enough that if you're holding them back, that they can easily see what the photo is and see your face in the photo or your photo movement. If we are not in the model part of the competition, but in the talent portion, would it still be beneficial? Definitely. Again, it's all about exposure, right? So if you can get in there and you're someone interested in talent, you still need headshots for a talent. If you're a talent interested in acting, and this is a great way, again, to get in front of those reps and show your personality a little bit. So I would recommend it because every rep, just like runway competition, is in the room for this. So it is beneficial for sure. Brooklyn, great question. What 2 categories would you recommend are best? example, editorial and headshot, or 2 nice full body and a face shot, etc. So I always recommend 1 face shot and 1 body shot. So face shows expression. So again, that's very important. And then your body shot would show photo movement. So I think capitalize on that and make sure, I think you wouldn't want to have 2 close-up headshots, for example. Again, you can, but again, that you want to be able to show what you have and your potential. So I think having a nice balance between, which I was going to get into actually, a nice balance between a headshot and a body shot where you're showing your photo movement abilities would really be beneficial. Great question. Do you get kids come in with a parent? Nope. So again, this is another situation where parents can line up for the competition we can have 1 parent per little one, but once they are in the competition room, we have so many staff, especially on the kids. So we'll make sure that they are instructed to go around the room so they have their own time to talk to these reps and for the reps to ask them questions. Because again, I drive this home a lot, but it is all about personality. And if your child isn't comfortable going into the room, then you have to think about how that would be on set. If they are on set expected to do something and they can't have mom and dad in the picture with them. Mom and dad can be on set, but they can't be necessarily, again, on the set as far as photos or television and film. Okay, what is the difference between the photography go-see and the cover competition? So cover and commercial print, we will get into those competitions, but cover and commercial print happens before CMTC. You submit electronically, so you don't have to print those photos. But we have judges for cover competition, we have our high fashion reps judging that competition, and then we have our commercial reps judging commercial competition. So again, it's about exposure, and you would pick 1 image for that. We will go over that. But photography go-see, again, is set up like a go-see in this industry. So you're actually having the face-to-face time with the reps as well for them to ask you any questions. And again, kind of show your personality while you're also showing them your images. Can we do black and white pictures for this competition? Yep, absolutely. What do you mean by photo movement? Great question. So I mean how your body is on camera. So what are you doing with your hands? What are you doing with your feet? What are you doing with your legs? So a headshot, again, would just be the frame of your face, but it's a really important aspect of modeling to be able to move your body and be conscious of what you're doing in every part of your movement. So when you're getting a photo taken, if your hand is kind of like this or whatever, you're not really paying attention, then that image isn't a great image. You have to be able to, again, modeling is all about selling a product, so you're making the product look as good as possible, and that's head to toe, especially if you're, again, more interested in the fashion side of things or even the commercial side of things, absolutely as well. So photo movement is just how your body is coming across on camera. If you do editorial and commercial, would you suggest 1 for each? Absolutely, that's a great question, Allie. So again, showing your potential. So when you select these photos, make sure you're thinking what maximizes my potential, what is really showing what I can do in front of the camera, both expression and photo movement. So again, by photo movement, I mean, what are you doing with your body in the photo? How do I add more competitions? You can just email us or use the add a competition form in the contestant hub. Can you explain more? Show expression. So showing expression in your face. So what does that mean? So if I kind of was taking a photo and I was just like this, I have no expression. I'm not doing much for whatever I'm trying to sell. I look bored. I look like I'm not looking at the camera. I look like I'm, again, not showing any type of expression. So a lot of this, like a commercial look, is kind of more approachable, like you're smiling, you're making eye contact with the camera. And then if it's editorial, sometimes you're not smiling, but that's fine. And then it's about your eyes. So if you've ever seen Top Model with Tyra Banks, she talks about the smize. So you don't necessarily need to be smiling with your teeth, but you could be smiling with your eyes, like thinking of something happy, and it comes through on camera. So that's all about expression. It shouldn't be too loud in there, Rachel. Again, you're not going to really be talking or chatting unless the reps are asking you questions, and the reps are focused on the contestants, so they won't really be talking to each other unless, again, something happens where maybe there's a moment where you're all talking. But it shouldn't be too loud in that room. Okay, I'm just gonna get into the competition rules a little bit and then I'll get back to the questions, okay? So it's open to contestants of all ages, this competition. You need 2 images, so no more than 2 prints, but you need to have them printed before you come to CMTC. We don't have a printer at the hotel. You don't want to be scrambling at the last minute, and you want to, again, be selective with what images you're using. So again, they can be professional or they can be images you take at home, but I do recommend that definitely recommend that you have them printed and with you on the Wednesday that you get to CMTC. Okay, so again, you cannot bring more than 2. If one of our team members sees that you have more than 2, they're going to make you choose, and you can only pick 2. Again, 2 hands, 2 photos. Okay, and then for the little ones, any parents that are concerned about their little ones holding up the photos, our staff, again, is on top of that, so we'll make sure that their photos are visible and that they're facing the reps and everything like that is fine. And the teenagers and adults, you'll kind of, as you go in, you'll see what you need to do. I did post photos just before I hopped on here from last year's Photo Go See competition. And there's also actually a YouTube video on our YouTube account that kind of gives you a movement, kind of an inside look at the competition as well. And you'll see the contestants moving along with their photos. Okay, so again, the photos must be loose. They can't be in a portfolio. 2 photos, 2 hands. Okay, so they must be single prints. Again, you don't want to have a collage of photos. You want 2 big blown up photos. I recommend 9 by 12. You don't really need to do any bigger than that, but I do recommend that size. There are some individuals who come with like a 3 by 5. That's fine too. But for example, a 4 by 6 might be too small because you do want these reps to, again, see your photos, okay, from where they're sitting. Okay, so again, you have to hold them up so they can clearly be seen. And again, the reps might ask you questions. They may not. Don't worry if they don't, and don't worry if they do. Just answer to your ability. They're going to ask about you, so you should know the answer. And the little ones, what they might ask is their age. So parents, again, no stress about that. And wardrobe requirements for this competition. So if you're a model, I highly recommend wearing jeans, and then a nice top that shows your frame. And then same for our actors. Daytime casual is what we always recommend. Appropriate, you don't need to wear any type of costume. For models specifically as well, I wouldn't wear too much makeup. Treat it like a go-see, treat it like a casting. Again, these reps know what they can do, what hair and makeup can do for you, so they really want to see you. Especially if you pick a photo where you're wearing a little more makeup and it's a little more editorial, I do suggest coming a little bare face, a little bit of cover up maybe, a little bit of mascara, just nothing too much. Okay, and that would be industry standard for a go-see. Okay, let me get into some more questions here. What's the last date to add a visitor pass? April 15th, but if you know you have a visitor, I highly, highly, highly recommend adding that as soon as you can. Are candid photos good, or they should be while looking at the camera? Definitely looking at the camera. So this is all about showing your photo movement. So the judges are looking at your ability to be photographed, your photo movement. So definitely not candid photos. It should be intentional photos where you've made eye contact with the camera. If for some reason you're not making eye contact with the camera, I'm assuming it'll likely be a body shot where you're conscious of what you're doing with your hands and your feet and your body. Is there a maximum of competitions? No. So we do set up the schedule that if there's a contestant, and there are quite a few that want to do every competition, you definitely can do every competition. It's all about getting that exposure and that education and the experience for you. Because if you can do something like this, then you could definitely do a smaller go-see with a client and a casting director and one agent. So if you can get in this room, you're definitely going to have the confidence to do it outside of CMTC. May I wear ribbon skirts? Yes, absolutely. So again, you can dress how you want for this competition. You just have to dress appropriately for your age. So that's our biggest tip right there, is dressing appropriately for your age. And again, if you're more interested in the modeling side, you can take a look at our Pinterest. We've also have suggestions there if you need some inspiration, but definitely dress appropriate for your age and appropriate in general. And then if you want to show off your frame a little more, then for females, leggings and a form-fitting top, or jeans and a form-fitting top, something that's going to, again, show your frame for both commercial and high fashion. Okay, great questions. For the body shot, does your whole body have to be visible in the photo or just part of it? That can be part of it as well. It doesn't have to be your full body. It could just be part of it. So again, you could have a close-up where your expression is really clear, you make eye contact with the camera, and then one that's maybe a little more, even half your body. And again, just making sure you're showing any type of photo movement skill that you have. How can I find the Pinterest board? So on Thursdays, it would have been linked in your last Thursday's email. It'll be linked in this Thursday's email, or you can just go on Pinterest and look up CMTC Inc. or Canadian Model and Talent Convention, and our board should pop up. What's appropriate for a 12-year-old actor and model? So just jeans and a shirt, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Would heels be good to wear for the go-see? Yes, especially if you are interested in modeling. So fashion or commercial models, if you want to wear heels, that's absolutely something that if you were represented in a model kit, we would say skinny jeans, black heels, and a black or white top. Sylvester, if you haven't been getting our emails, definitely check your junk and your spam and then send us an email and we'll make sure that you're up to date with everything. Where is the next convention? So it'll be, this coming one is in May. CMTC 2023 is in May in Toronto. And then we don't have our dates confirmed yet for 2024, but it will be in Toronto. It's always in Toronto. Okay. So I have some tips for selecting your photos. So the number one thing is definitely have fun with your photos, have fun with your images. Be confident when you're walking in the room. That is super, super important. That's what acting and modeling is all about. And even if you're feeling a bit shy, my suggestion is fake it till you make it and just put on a smile and turn that any type of anxiety you might have into excitement, because it is such an opportunity to get in front of these reps from all over the world. And it doesn't come by often, and you are someone who has this opportunity. So definitely just psych yourself up and make the most of it, because again, you're getting, even if you feel a little shy, the fact that you're doing it is a confidence booster in itself, okay? Okay, so this is not specifically about the go-see competition, but do you suggest we get like pedicures and manicures for the convention? Like, do those things matter? So in this industry, it is about like you are your own business. So often they'll say your body is your business. So again, what do I mean by that? I mean being healthy, putting your best foot forward. So if that means, or even how you feel. So if you want to get your nails done and get your hair done and everything before CMTC, I would recommend that because you want to make the most out of this experience. It is not easy to get in front of these reps. So to have them all in one room for 4 days is a big, big thing. So you've gotten this far. So once you get to the convention, again, I would do anything you can to put your best foot forward and really prepare yourself, both physically and mentally, to put yourself best foot forward and feeling confident in yourself. Okay, because that comes across more than anything is if you feel confident. And that's what these reps are looking for. And that's what modeling and acting requires is confidence in yourself. Okay, so again, ensure your photos are age appropriate. So if you're a child or under 12 specifically, or even under 8, well, when it gets about 15, 16, 17, 18, makeup's okay, more makeup, but for the younger categories, I would definitely suggest not any makeup or not too much makeup at all, because these casting directors and these reps, they're looking for, if they're looking for a 12-year-old, they're looking for a 12-year-old. If they're looking for a 10-year-old, they're looking for a 10-year-old. They don't want a 10-year-old that's wearing tons of makeup. And that's true for any side of the industry, both acting and modeling. Okay, so age appropriate for sure. So you want your photos to be age appropriate. Okay, so again, don't overcomplicate your images. A lot of you are new faces, so you don't need to do anything too crazy in your photos. Adding every new element is adding more complications for you in your photos. So you don't necessarily need to be doing anything too crazy. Again, it's more about expression and watching your body and looking at like maybe what your hands are doing, what your feet are doing, and if they're showing in the photo, and going from there. Okay, so and instead of focusing on your makeup and your wardrobes and props, focus on your body movement. So that's what I mean by photo movement and facial expression. Okay, these are like the key areas that these reps are looking for. Okay, what can I tell an 8-year-old who has major anxiety in crowded rooms? So the room won't be crowded. The reps will be sitting at their tables, and then they'll be with their division walking through the room. So again, I would just get them excited for the opportunity that they have in experiencing this and tell them to have fun with it. Especially again for kids, these reps are only looking for kids who want to be there and who are enjoying it. Okay. So remember, your poses don't have to be big and extreme. You can make small movements. They don't have to be it doesn't have to be anything too crazy or too dramatic, okay? And you want to look put together for these reps, so it's best to show them you and your true self, and make sure you're comfortable in that, because that's the most important thing. You don't want to be uncomfortable, because that comes across, right? So you want to feel confident in yourself. So if that means that you're wearing something that's more comfortable for you, then that's absolutely what we would want for you. But again, making sure you're putting your best foot forward. So I wouldn't wear sweats or anything like that if you can avoid it. I definitely wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so all of these reps, it's important to remember as well, they're all looking for different things. They're looking for different ages. They're looking for different people for their rosters. So it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. So again, it's more about you and your confidence and showing your two best images. Okay, so they're looking for people who present themselves well and who are confident in themselves. Okay. Hi, Roxanne. What about the commercial photos? Will this be discussed in another live? Absolutely. So the full live schedule is on the Contestant Hub, so we do have a date set for that, as well as cover competition. How many photos do we need? So 2. You can only have 2. So definitely, again, make the most of this. Don't come with 1 photo, come with 2. But they have to be 2 images. It can't be collages. Again, that would make your images too small for these reps to be able to see when you're holding them. So 2 images. And they need to be printed before CMTC, so you have them with you upon arrival. If we can't decide between a couple of pics, can we send them to you to get your opinion on which to use in the go-see? You can. Again, we have to be fair, so we can't really give away too much, and we have a smaller team working in our office, so we will do what we can in that regard to guide you, but we definitely want to guide you because we want you to get the most out of this. So if you're really struggling with your 2 images, you can definitely give us a shout, and we're here to help. Sorry if you already answered this, but for the competition, should our hair be natural? Yes. So again, especially for models, commercial or high fashion, you want to make sure that you're coming in natural, because that is, again, if you had an agency representing you and they sent you to a go-see, often it's little to no makeup. Sometimes it's absolutely no makeup, but in this case, it can be little to no. So some cover-up, some mascara, and then kind of that's where I draw the line for what we tell our models, and then form-fitting jeans or leggings to show your figure, and same with the top. But again, it is about you being comfortable. So if you're not comfortable in something form-fitting, then wear something that you're comfortable and confident in. But again, for your hair, same thing. So do what feels natural. And if you have curly hair, for example, I have naturally curly hair and I've straightened it. So it is up to you in that regard. And then if you do wear your hair curly sometimes and straight sometimes, that's another thing to think about in your photos. Maybe choose 2 photos, one where your hair is curly and one where it's straight. But these reps want natural. That's what I will say. Do they have to be professional photos? No. So for example, our Jasmine Julian, she came with photos her mom took. And look at her career now, right? So again, these reps see the potential. That's why this competition is so important, because they're seeing your photos, but then they're also seeing you in person. Should our photos be up or down while in person? Or sorry, should our hair be up or down while in person? Again, that's up to you. It would be great if you have longer hair that the reps can see how long your hair is. However, they might just ask. So that's an example of something. If you have your hair up, one of the reps might say, can I see what your hair looks like down? So if you have one of those clips or hair elastics that doesn't crinkle your hair even, like, I would suggest that if you want to wear your hair up. Should images be just face or a full body better? I would definitely recommend one of each if you have the option of choosing. Again, you want to be able to show these reps your expression, and then it's also great to be able to show them your body movement or photo movement. And that's why we do 2 photos. For the cover competition, do we need to bring the picture we submitted? So I will have a live session about the cover and commercial print competition. However, the photos for cover competition, they're submitted electronically before CMTC, but we have had some contestants use their cover photo both for cover competition and then bring it to Photography Go See and use it for that as well, printed. So that's an option for you. What do you mean by natural hair? Like our natural hair color or style? Both. So again, these reps know that girls or whomever will dye their hair. I dye my hair all the time, so I understand that. But making it look as natural as possible is important because these reps do, again, know what hair coloring can do, what makeup can do. So that's what I mean by natural. So I would avoid having any, unless it's true to you to have different colored hair, then that's fine. But if you're someone who's a brunette and you're usually brunette, then I would just stick with brunette. What's really important is you look like the photos that you're presenting to the judges. So if you are someone who, again, like me, straightens their hair all the time, then my photos are likely going to be me with straight hair. If your photos, and then I will likely wear my hair straight for Photography Go See. So if you're someone who has curly hair and you wear it curly all the time, then if your images have curly hair, then I would wear curly hair for Photography Go See. Again, lipstick is fine, same thing. Like, you just want to make sure that you are looking, you're feeling confident, and that, again, it's nothing too distracting from you. So if you feel like you feel more confident wearing lipstick, that's totally fine. Again, you just don't want to distract from your photos or your face too much. So that's why I just say kind of steer away from too much going on with your hair or your makeup or your wardrobe. Great questions. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up in a second here. Okay, I'm going to wrap up in a second. So things to remember about Photography Go See competition. 2 printed photos that you need to bring to CMTC, pre-printed and ready. So again, I would have it ready for event check-in and have your photos printed. You don't want to be running around scrambling to try to find photos because 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, unless you're in singing and dance prelims, things really start to get busy. So you won't have too much time to run out and print photos if you're in this competition and you come without them. So you need to have 2 printed photos. We do recommend 9 by 12. Again, make sure you bring your printed photos to CMTC. The photos must be loose and not in a portfolio because you are holding them like this. Again, I posted photos from last year's competition so you can take a look at what it looks like when you're holding your photos. They can be in color or they can be in black and white. That's totally up to you. Again, we recommend 9 by 12, but you won't be disqualified if they're not 9 by 12. You want the prints to be clear, so make sure when you're printing your photos that they're not blurry. You want the reps to be able to see, again, your potential, and they can't see your potential if their photo is blurry. So just make sure, or at least in your photo, or judge your photo if your photo is blurry. So make sure if it's a photo that you've blown up, that it does print clear. Okay? So 9 by 12 is the biggest size we recommend. But 8 by 10 is also good. It's just like when you get to the 4 by 6s, it's just too small for them to be able to see what's happening in your photo. Okay, so again, it's best for the photos to show your ability to move in front of the camera and show your expression and your body movement, or otherwise known as photo movement, okay? And the contestants may be asked questions, so if you're not asked questions, don't worry. That's not a bad thing either, but if they ask you a question, then just answer to your best ability. It'll be about you, so you will know the answer. Okay, so I'm going to look at the last couple questions here. What happens if we don't submit the program book picture in time? If you don't submit it in time and we haven't heard from you, then you just won't appear in the program book. It's also important to know if you didn't sign your contestant agreements, please get those into us because you cannot be published in the program book unless you submit those documents, okay? We can't publish you unless you do that. Do we need to print them out ourselves and bring them to the competition? Yes. So this is the competition where you do need to have your photos printed. The cover and commercial print competitions are submitted electronically. Do we need to be looking at the camera in both of these shots? You don't need to be. So if one is showing your expression and you feel like you've shown your expression really well, and the other one is more focused on your body movement and you're not looking at the camera, that's okay. You're showing that versatility, so that's fine. Can we wear jewelry for any of these competitions? Yeah, absolutely. So again, I suggest something a little more dainty that's not too distracting from you. But again, show your personality. At the end of the day, that's what's counting here, is you're confident in your personality. So if you feel like that big jewelry is a part of you and something that shows your self-expression, then definitely. Hi, Danny. Okay, I think we're going to wrap up here. Those were great questions. And next week we will be talking about self-tape competition. So that's another one of my favorite competitions. So it'll be a really great session. And today's session was awesome. So again, Photography Go See, if you're not in this competition, I highly recommend it. All the reps at CMTC are in this room. It's a great opportunity for you. So if you'd like to add it, you can still add that competition. You can just do it through the contestant hub, or you can go ahead and just send us an email and we're here to help. Okay. When does the program picture need to be submitted? Tomorrow. So tomorrow's the deadline for the program book photos. You should have received tons of emails by now. It would have been in your confirmation email when you registered, all the important dates and deadlines. It's also on our website. So it is tomorrow by the end of the day. So even if you get it to us by 11:59, our team's working on processing them. Please be aware though that we do process them individually. So if you're someone who submitted closer to the deadline, because so many photos are coming in, it does take us longer to get back to you to send you that photo received email. Yes, Megan, the deadline is tomorrow. Can we still add this competition? Apply to the competition. Yep, so you can still add Photo Go See. Maddie, you can send us an email, info@CMTC. Okay, we're at our max for this year, but please still send us an email and you can maybe get on the list for next year. Okay, awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure, everybody. And like I said, next week is self-tape competition. If you missed this or you're just tuning in now, we will send a copy of this on Thursday in an email to you. So again, I look forward to seeing you guys in May, and I hope this was helpful.